everybody, Legend for Life here, bringing you guys a brand new deck profile. This time around it is my Supreme King, Odd Eyes, Magician, Performer Pal, Pendulum, Dragon, Jesus Christ, way too many archetypes deck profile. Basically, Odd Eyes, Pendulum, Magicians, or whatever you want to call it. That's probably what's going to be the title. So guys, as you guys know, I freaking love this deck. I know I just made a deck profile like a few weeks ago. But then we got the ban list, and everything was put to 3, and I'm really happy, because this is one of my favorite decks, and Jesus Christ, I am so happy. I really wish the regional that's coming up this weekend was after the ban list, so that then I could play this instead of, like, Dynamis or something, but then again, I'm probably going to do better with Dynamis, but anyways, I don't know. So, I really, really love this deck. It's a lot of fun to play. It can do a lot of combos, and of course, it can make Zarakus one of the most annoying boss monsters to have to deal with, unless your opponent has a kaiju for that. So, really, in all honesty, this deck is just, I love it. It's so good, and it's so fun to play. What's going on with this? I want to talk about it. So, first and foremost, I got triple Oath Dragon Magician. He's the main recursion guy, and he's also your main low scale. Once a turn while he's in the P scale, you can just add back any of your Magician Pendulum monsters from your extract to your hand, except himself, because you gotta be annoying like that. And then if he's summoned, you can grab back any of your Magician Pendulum monsters or Odd Eyes cards. I actually forgot to mention that. You can also grab back Odd Eyes as well from your extra deck. But if he's normal or Pendulum Summon or Special Summon, whatever, you can grab back any of your Magician Pendulum monsters or Odd Eyes Pendulum monsters from your graveyard to your hand. So he's just really good for recursion and stuff, which is pretty good in tandem with your main high scale, and that's Dragon Pit Magician. So Dragon Pit Magician says once a turn while it's in a Pendulum scale and you have another Magician Pendulum monster, you can discard a Pendulum monster to destroy one spell or trap card on the field. Really good. He's your main way of destroying spells and traps. He's actually one of the main reasons why I don't play Twin Twister in the main deck. I do, however, side Twin Twister. He's really good, has a pretty good scale, and pretty good stats too for being a defense-oriented monster. And hey, he's level 7, so then rank 7 plays, which is always fun. Next up, we got triple Skulker Bat Joker. Oh god, I'm so happy he's at 3 again. Whenever he's normal summon, he can search out any Performer Pile monster, Pendulum Magician monster, or Odd Eyes monster from your deck to your hand. Really good card. Only gets it whenever he's normal summon. And if you absolutely have to put him in your Pendulum scale, he is a really good level, scale 8. But however, you can only Pendulum summon Odd Eyes, Performer Pal, and Magician monsters, which is annoying, but oh well. Next up, we got triple Wisdom Eye Magician. Wisdom Eye Magician is just so freaking good, okay? If he's in your P scale and you have another Pendulum Magician or Performer Pal monster, oddly enough, in your Pendulum scale, you can destroy him, place any Pendulum Magician from your deck into your P scale where he was, except another copy of himself, because, well, that'd be stupid if you could do Wisdom Eye to Wisdom Eye to Wisdom Eye to Oath Dragon, because you just loaded up your extract with 3 monsters. That would be not fair. So with that being said, this card is still really good. His effect is not a hard once per turn, so if you have multiples of him, and like if you open up 2 of this guy, it is the best thing ever, because then you just activate both, use both effects, put Oath Dragon and Dragon Pit, and then hey, you just set your scales and got 2 monsters in your extract to Pendulum Summon out and make a rank 4 or something. Really, really, really good card overall. I absolutely love the fact that he's back at 3. Next up, we got triple Supreme King Darkworm. This guy is really stupid good. I can't stress that enough, because this thing single-handedly makes it to where all your stuff that discards is even better, and kind of makes me want to play Twin Twister in main deck again. So if this guy's in your graveyard and you control all monsters, you can just spell summon him from your graveyard. You can only do that once a turn, but still really, really good. So that means that you got another full Burial target. He's one of your best things to discard off of Dragon Pit, and one of your best things to discard off of good old Pendulum Call. Now then, another really fun thing is that whenever he is normal or special summon, you can grab any of your Supreme King Gate cards from your deck to your hand. And sadly, there's only 2, so you can either grab Gate 0 or Gate Infinity. Really good cards overall as well. I'll get to them here in a little bit. And then if you absolutely have to, put them in your Pendulum scale, which I don't recommend ever unless you absolutely have to. If you control all monsters, you can put one of your Supreme King Gate monsters from your deck into your other Pendulum scale, but you cannot Pendulum summon monsters except dark monsters for us to turn. It's really annoying about that, but hey, whatever. That's like if you're in absolute desperation mode. Or you're bricked stupid hard. Now then, for the Supreme King Gate cards, we have Supreme King Gate in 0 and Supreme King Gate Infinity. Now then, these guys, first and foremost, are the only, well, 0 is one of the only two pendulum monsters of a scale of 0, and obviously Infinity is the only pendulum monster of a scale of 13. And these things are stupid good, okay? I used to think they weren't that great, but then I actually tested them, and I'm like, oh my god, these things are amazing. So, let's start off with 0 first. 0 says, once a turn while he's in your monster zone, you can destroy him and another face-up card you control to special summon any fusion or synchro dragon monster from your extra deck, but its attack and defense drop to 0, and its effects are negated. And then if it's destroyed in a monster zone, you can put him in your pendulum zone. And then if he's in your pendulum zone and you control Zark, you take no damage. Also, if your other pendulum skill is Infinity, you can destroy them both, search out any polymerization or fusion spell card from your deck to your hand. That's all well and fine and dandy. Then we got Infinity, who does the same thing basically, but summons an Xyz or Pendulum Dragon from your extra deck. Again, same thing, 0 defense, 0 attack, effects are negated. And then if he's destroyed, he goes into your pendulum zone, and then he's a bit more obnoxious because if he's in your P scale and you control a monster, you cannot pendulum summon. It's really annoying because they gotta put some sort of restriction on every decent high scale. And then if you control Zark, you can target one monster your opponent controls once a turn, gain life points equal to half that monster's attack power. So, really good cards overall. The other thing that I really gotta make mention of is that neither of their effects are a hard once per turn, which is stupid good. Because if you have like all four of these guys out on the field, you can spam your field with 1 Xyz, 1 Synchro, 1 Fusion, 1 Pendulum monster straight right then and there. And then, hey, look at that, that's Zark right there, which is one of the reasons why I'm tempted to play 3, but playing 3 of these guys, 3 of each, tends to brick, so I've been going with 2 and 2. I might try a different build with 3, I don't know. It's really, really difficult right now to just decide on all that. Next up, we got 2 Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragons. It still pains me to only play 2, but I gotta play only 2 because deck reasons and just not being able to fit everything. He's a really good card overall, just being able to do double the battle damage, and of course his main thing is searching at the end phase, but generally speaking you don't really use him for that anymore unless, like, again, you're in desperation mode, but however, generally speaking, you use him for combo pieces and for going for an OTK. And now for the one Pendulum Sorcerer, you might be thinking that's a bit crazy, but I do only play one Performer Pal other than himself, that being, of course, Skullgirbat, and Skullgirbat's at 3, so over the course of a few turns, I can grab Skullgirbat, like 3 times each turn. It's just popping himself, searching out Skullgirbat, which is pretty good. He's literally here just to search out Skullgirbat. Next up, we got good old Odd Eyes Mirage Dragon. He's one of my search targets for Skyris, just in case. He's a high skill too, which is always nice. 1 Archfiend Eccentric for popping and general removal and stuff, being able to pop spells for traps on pendulum scale and pop monsters while in monster zone. 1 Noble Dragon Magician for being able to go into most of my synchros. 1 Maxi for being able to just draw off of my opponent doing stuff. And then 1 Tuning Magician to be able to just go into Ignister or Crystal Wing if I need to. Yeah. Now then for the spells, first and foremost we got triple Pendulum Call, which is I am so happy to say that again. Pendulum Call being at 3 again, it really, really helps the deck. If you guys don't know, you discard 1 card, add 2 Pendulum Magicians with different names from your deck to your hand, and then until the end of your opponent's next turn, all Pendulum Magicians in your Pendulum skills cannot be destroyed by card effects, and you cannot activate this card if you have already activated a Pendulum Magician Pendulum effect. Which is pretty annoying because then you gotta like play smart and stuff, which is, oh my god, you gotta play smart. But it's still a really, really good card. Being able to search out any 2, it automatically sets your skills and protects them, which is incredibly good. Meaning that if your opponent has freaking Unending Nightmare, which is the bane of this deck's existence, like it's the bane of every freaking Pendulum deck's existence, this protects your cards from Unending Nightmare. It just is an overall really, really good card. And heck, if you have a Dark Worm, Tuning Magician, or Noble Dragon Magician, it can set up your graveyard too with the discard, which is really, really nice. And of course, the card is searchable thanks to Duelist Alliance. For those who don't know, whenever you activate this card, if there's a Pendulum card in the Pendulum Zone, doesn't matter if it's yours or your opponent's, grab any Pendulum monster, so monsters with Pendulum in the name, or Pendulum spell or Pendulum trap card from your deck to your hand. You can either grab Pendulum Call, it can grab Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon, it can grab Performa Pal Pendulum Sorcerer, it can grab so much stuff, and it is just a really, really good card overall for this deck. Next up, we got Triple Allure Darkness. Half my deck is dark, so this card is just almost always live. Triple Skyris for being able to search out Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon, Odd Eyes Mirage Dragon, and good old Odd Eyes Fusion. And also protects skills from targeting effects. 2 Terraforming to search out the Skyris. 2 Odd Eyes Fusions. People have told me not to play 2 and only to play 1, but I prefer 2 because I have so many ways to search it, and I have multiple fusions that I need to go into quite often. Not to mention, this card can load up your graveyard for Zark. If you have nothing and your opponent has 2 monsters, well, 2 or more monsters, whenever you activate this card to fusion summon, you can use monsters in your extra deck, and including at least 1 Odd Eyes monster in your extra deck. So what you generally do is you use this thing effect, send Odd Eyes Meteor Burst and Odd Eyes Raging Dragon from your extra deck to the graveyard, fusion summon Odd Eyes Vortex Dragon, and then right with just 1 card, you have 3 of the 4 requirements on your field or in your graveyard to make Zark. Literally the only thing you would be missing is a Pendulum Dragon, which is not hard to do. So with just 1 card, you just set up your whole graveyard pretty much for Zark, which is really, really good, and got yourself a 2500 Infernity Barrier. So that's one of the many, many reasons why I like Odd Eyes Fusion. Now, something that somebody recommended to me in my previous Odd Eyes Zark deck is Miracle Synchro Fusion. It is just a better alternative to Dragon's Mirror. So Dragon's Mirror is unsearchable. There is, like, okay, Left Arm Offering can search it, but that is it. Miracle Synchro Fusion is searchable by Supreme King Gate 0. So you can search out this card, which is incredibly good because this is literally a searchable Dragon's Mirror for Zark, and that is incredibly useful. Not to mention, if you want to try and bait out your opponent's back row and you set this card and it's destroyed by one of your opponent's back row removal, like MST or Twin Twister or something, you get to draw a card, which is really, really nice. 1 Fool's Burial to get my stuff in graveyard, and then 1 Solemn Warning. I've honestly kind of been tempted to drop it because it's my 1 trap card, but I don't know. I dropped Pendulum Switch. I'm kind of thinking about dropping this. I don't know if I want to go completely trapless, but this card has been really helpful and has saved my butt in a multitude of situations, so I don't know. What do you guys think? Should I drop Solemn Warning or should I keep it? Should I swap it out for something else? That's honestly one of the reasons why I like making deck profiles so much, to hear you guys' recommendations and everything. Now then, for the extra deck. First and foremost, we got 2 of the king himself, Zark. Since Norden has been banned, I decided to replace him with another Zark. I've been wanting to put another Zark in the deck for an incredibly long time, but I couldn't fit him in there. There was just no room, which is really sad for a deck focused on summoning Zark. So now that I finally have 2 in here, I feel a lot more comfortable and don't have to really worry too much about getting freaking Kaiju, because I can make another one incredibly easily in this deck. Oftentimes in your setup to make 1 Zark, you usually have enough leftover stuff to be able to make a second one. And heck, if you fuse 1 with Odd Eyes Fusion and then you make the other one with Miracle Synchro Fusion, you have a 2-card OTK, because these guys are, well, he's 4K and that's 8K total. For those who don't know what Zark does, he cannot be special summon except by fusion summon. And his requirements to be fusion summon is 1 Pendulum Dragon, 1 Xyz Dragon, 1 Synchro Dragon, and 1 Fusion Dragon monster. And then whenever he's fusion summoned, he nukes your opponent's board. When he kills a monster in battle, he summons a Supreme King Dragon from your deck or extra deck, if I remember correctly. I think he can also summon it from grave. No, deck or extra deck. And he cannot be targeted or destroyed by card effects. He can still be ran over in battle, which is annoying, but oh well. So he's really, really good. He's really obnoxious to get over. Unless your opponent has Ignister, Utopia Lightning, or a Kaiju, your opponent's not getting over this. So generally speaking, you usually win the game when you summon this, unless it's game 2 and your opponent has a Kaiju and you don't OTK him. So this card is just really, really good overall. He's your main boss monster, obviously, as well. He's your end goal. And when you use summon him, you usually win a duel. First, and now for the non-Zark stuff, we got good old Master Paladin, the Ascending Draco Slayer. He's mostly here just to search out and stuff. That's all he's good for, really. But he is a Dragon Xyz, so he can be used for the fusion summon of Zark, too. One Tornado Dragon, oddly enough not a dragon, but still really good. Being able to just pop my opponent's back row, he's a way to get rid of Unending Nightmare and other annoying cards, so just really good overall. One Dark Rebellion Xyz Dragon for going into Zark, and for being a just really good Xyz monster, being able to detach 2 Xyz materials, half the attack of one of your opponent's monsters, and add it to his own. That can really help out with OTKs and stuff. One Odd Eyes Absolute Dragon for one of my rank 7s. I almost called it a rank 8. It's not an 8, it's a 7. Really good card overall too. It's basically Utopia. Whenever a monster attacks, you can detach an Xyz material, negate the attack, and then you can spell summon an Odd Eyes monster from your graveyard or face up from your extra deck. And if it dies, you can summon any Odd Eyes monster from your extra deck except itself. One Red Eyes Flare Metal. This card is still really good. So while he's out on the field, every time your opponent activates a card or effect, it takes 500 damage, and he cannot be destroyed by card effects. He also has another effect to summon out of Red Eyes from your graveyard, but that's really irrelevant for this deck. So he cannot be destroyed by card effects, and it makes it to where your opponent burns themselves for 500 every time they activate a card or effect. So it's really annoying for your opponent to deal with. He's 2800, he's not the easiest thing to get over, and can just really screw over your opponent. One Odd Eyes Raging Dragon, mostly just for fusioning into Zark and stuff. You maybe make him once in a blue moon to go and do 3k damage, but that's about it. One Clearwing Synchro Dragon, really good card overall, just being able to negate anything that targets a level 5 or higher monster, well, any monster effect at least, and being able to negate any level 5 or higher monster's effect. Pretty good card overall. One Odd Eyes Meteor Burst Dragon for combos and for just sending the graveyard with Odd Eyes Fusion. One Enlightenment Paladin to grab back my spells and stuff. One Ignister to get rid of things. One Crystal Wing, because you can actually summon him off of the Supreme King Gate 0, if I remember right, and then that just lets you go into other things. Not to mention, if you need to go into him, you can always use one of your level 7s to go into him with Tuning Magician. One Odd Eyes Vortex Dragon, and one Starving Venom Fusion Dragon for my fusion targets other than Zark. Really good cards overall. And yes, if you guys are paying attention, I do play all 4 Dimension Dragons. Which I made a point to do because I really wanted to do it. So overall, I really like this deck. It's a lot of fun to play. It's really good. It's going to be really good once the ban list drops on June 12th. I've been testing this out thoroughly. I can usually summon Zark every game unless like I get OTK'd or something. And even then, if I can't summon Zark, I can usually just be able to win with my other monsters because they're all really good on their own. Zark is just a game finisher, really, to be honest. And also, like, he's just really awesome to summon. Like, there's nothing more satisfying than summoning a Zark and nuking your opponent's entire board. It's really awesome. Now, overall, I do really like this deck. It's a lot of fun. I already said that. But I still want to hear your guys' opinions. What are your guys' thoughts? Do you like this deck? Do you not? What are your guys' thoughts and recommendations? What would you change out? What would you recommend that I change out? Are there any cards I'm missing that would really help out for this deck? Thank you all for watching. Have a great day. If it's your birthday, happy birthday. See you all later. Peace out and goodbye. Oh, and don't forget to check the links down below in my description. That's all my social media stuff and my Discord and everything. I love talking with you guys. And once again, guys, see you all later. Peace out and goodbye.